Here we are. I don't think there was anything that big that happened in the last stream. I think there was the one girl is battling legal stuff because of her killing her friend and whatnot, so. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start. Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome back to Entertainment Today. A morning show host says through polished teeth. Oh, Puka, you are welcome to chat. You can still chat and stuff while I'm reading, because I usually check the chat, so don't feel like, you can't talk or whatever. If you, like millions at home, caught last night's premiere of Cooler Cult, you may need a bit more coffee since you likely didn't get much sleep. I know I didn't, his co-host added as she sipped. I'm a little confused. White wine. What a disturbing story, especially knowing it's based on real life. It is, yeah. I'm sure many of our viewers know about the Morgan Green tragedy, which, by the way, Jerry's selection starts for today. It's a great behind-the-scenes look at events leading up to the tragedy, as told by friends and classmates of the girls involved. A bit later in the show, we'll be talking to the executive producer of the film, who we have to disclose is a part owner of our own network, and get his take on the film and the events that inspired it. But first, let's welcome our first guest, Bindi the Lemur. Hey, boss, Morgan said cheerfully as she came out for breakfast. You're awfully energetic this morning. Sleep well? Forsetti asked. I did. But for some reason, I just feel refreshed, charged up today. I don't know how to explain it. Like electricity in my veins. Electricity? Huh. I feel a bit powered up today too. I assumed it was a good night of social media. But that wouldn't do anything for me, would it? Morgan asked, pausing from buttoning bacon onto her plate. Well, sure it would. You're a spirit that lived on after death. Here in our realm, the same rules apply. If people are talking about you, remembering you, expending any energy whatsoever, you reap a piece of that energy. It means lower cost for me to keep you here. Whoops. So, I'm like a goddess? Something like that. There's a lot of ways of looking at being a god. From your use, you mean it as identity, like being a god of something. Yet in your case, it's more being sustained by the energies of others. The only real difference is that you actually lived, existed. We were born purely from the will of the humans who were looking to explain the natural world, so are associated with different phenomena. Forsetti explained. So, in short, I'm a goddess? Yeah, I'll say, fuck yeah! I told Tyler I was in junior high, and he called me a weird Wiccan. Tyler? Forsetti was taken aback and confused. Oh, boyfriend, Morgan said dismissively. I told him he should treat me like the goddess I was. He decided Rachel from the field hockey team was an easier skirt to get in. Morgan walked off from the kitchen, full of excitement and energy. Forsetti watched after her as she left, wondering what new events had led to this surge. He finished his fruit and went to Oracle to investigate. This is your spintress? Wait, what? What's a... I'm so confused. Special interest. No, you're fine. You're totally fine. I find it... I see what you mean though. It's very interesting, like, how we're both fae, but we're like on opposite ends. You know. Morgan, we need to talk. Forsetti called towards her room after spending some time catching up on the previous day's events. What's up? Morgan emerged in one of her new outfits that Frigg had made her, though Forsetti noticed the skirt was quite a bit shorter than it had been before, and the top seemed a bit more filled out. Do you feel any different? Have you noticed any changes to yourself? Yeah, actually, my boobs got a little bigger, I think. Also, my hair got darker, more like it's dyed color than my natural. Anything else? Forsetti prompted. Just a constant buzz of energy coming in, like I drank too much coffee. I think it's making me feel horny? That's weird. I'm sorry. I haven't been exactly in the mood since dying. But now I just want to go find Thor or Farah and ask them to tie me up. First things first, don't have sex with Acer, or Vanir, or Giants. I really just recommend avoiding any of the gods. You don't want to experience godly childbirth. But if it's another goddess, Morgan, my great-great-grandfather was brought into the world by a space cow licking an ice cube. Heimdall was birthed simultaneously by nine mothers who were also sisters, and there was no father. The rules are a bit different. Forsetti gently grabbed Morgan by her shoulders to try and focus her on what he was saying. More importantly, please remember how we were talking about your energy is coming from the thoughts of the humans? I know. So, same, but I had to keep on reading, so I couldn't stop, but yes, same. Yeah, that was like an hour ago. And do you remember when I explained that for God? Much of who we are is what we perceive to be by those feeding us those energies. What kind? That one's still a bit confusing. No, it's not. Forsetti shook her a bit as her eyes grew wide. You understood it when we had the conversation. You're very smart. The problem is this. He pointed to the image on Oracle. It showed a scene from the movie that had premiered the night before, based on Morgan and Megan's story. On the paused frame was the actress seemingly portraying Morgan. She was tall and had somewhat darker hair with blood red highlights. The outfit she was wearing was fairly similar to the outfit Morgan had died in, though shorter than she would have ever been comfortable wearing, and her figure was a bit more generous than Morgan's own. She was draping herself over an older man in what seemed to be a bar, flirting for a drink perhaps with her arm around his neck. What the heck? What the heck is this? Is that supposed to be me? It is you. Or rather, it will be. Forsetti quickly explained the release of the movie and the critical reception, as well as the plans to re-air it in the following days. The problem becomes that my people believing that's you, then that's you, hazard of being a goddess. Since your death, you've been thought of as a victim, a sweet girl that made a mistake. Now, at least according to one critic, you're a bimbo archetype poured into skin-tight leather that she can't wait to get out of when anyone pays her attention. What the fuck? I mean, sure, I scammed a few dudes for drinks, but that's not me. I know, it doesn't portray me much better. The film really paints it that you made a deal with me to get fame and hit it big, but I came to collect earlier than you expected. Most responses and comments I have seen have been something like, "Don't play games with the pagan gods," and "Don't be a whore." Those were mostly older women, but there's an awful lot of them and people are listening. I think we're in trouble. Why? Energy is energy, right? Good or bad, we survive, right? Yeah, but what will we become? How long until this vocal group of grandmas influence those in power to limit our reach? There are brands starting to use my name and image. There are charities starting in your name to support various mental health and art causes. Will anyone tie themselves to our names if this is who we are? Do you want to be that person? Now that I know what it is, I can control myself. Native, how are you doing? Thanks for the tab. Are you still streaming? You're showing on my tab that you are. Yeah, it looks like you are. Okay. Where was I? Morgan, did you alter that dress after Frigg gave it to you? No, it was shorter this morning. I actually think it's shorter now than it was when I put it on. You can't control it. The universe itself will bend you to your role. Well then, Morgan said after a deep breath, perhaps we can control the narrative. Get out of the way. What are you going to do? Frasetti asked. I'm going to watch this movie and then hit the forums to spin it. I'm fine with being a confident boss bitch, but I'm going to do it on my terms. You're going to figure out who made the movie and rain down some Viking wrath. Already a step ahead of you. Frasetti pulled another video up of an interview on a talk show. The guest being interviewed looked a bit older and shorter, but it was undeniable Loki talking about making the movie. This guy again? Morgan wailed. What more can you do than the things you've already done to him? What's worse than being tied to a boulder and having acid leaked onto you for years? Being lured, Versetti said, simple, and made his way to his own chambers. Morgan looked back to the movie clip. She checked her mom's social media. This isn't who Morgan was. She was brilliant and kind and was going to school to be an audio-video engineer. Don't remember her this way. The comments section was turned off, though by the number of likes and other reactions, it seemed the quote had been seen by quite a few. She let a tear fall into the surface of the basin. Masters, how are you doing? Thanks for stopping by the way. Do I like butterflies? Yeah, I think I do like butterflies. Do you like butterflies? Wait, what do you mean? What butterflies did I give? Let me do a shout out for Native. You know, I think I totally forgot to do Nerdy earlier. Nerdy. There we go. Masters, what butterflies am I giving you? I mean, are moths kind of considered butterflies? I think in a way they are. Alright, so that was chapter 20. Basically what we just read was, I guess there's some negative stuff that people are saying about Morgan, which Morgan is the girl that got murdered. And because they're talking about her case and what happened to her and making these videos, she's like gaining energy just like a goddess. So one of the things apparently is she's getting bigger boobs. So so there's that. And then we're on chapter 21. I don't know how many chapters is in here. Oh no. Give me 1 second, guys. My cat is scratching. Okay, sorry, I'm back. My cat. Okay, so I stream in my office, and I have a cat in here, but she can't be with the other cats. And the other cats try to get her. They try to come in here, so I have to keep them from doing that. And for some reason, when I'm in here, that's the only time they try to get in here. So, okay. So chapter 21. Forseti sat down at his desk and summoned sheafs of parchment. He began by laying out everything he knew and had been told by others, which he hung in a timeline along a wall of his sitting room. Using a red thread to connect them all, he then wrote the open questions he had and hung them in their respective places, as well as any assumptions he had come to. The events spanned from the Christianization of Norse territory until Forseti awoke recently, with most of the actively grouped at the ends and empty space in the middle. The answer is somewhere in that gap. During that gap, all of the gods slept, except Mimir and Loki. Loki isn't likely to tell me anything, and I've already spoken with Mimir. Mimir rarely is far from Odin's side, so talking to him may not be possible anyway. What was Loki doing for those centuries? He was supposed to be keeping our memory, preparing to cause our return. If so, how did he sustain himself unless he had followers? How could he have followers without feeding the rest of us? Or at least some of us. Energy. There's no Loki stories without the Aesir. He decided the best course of action would be to learn as much as possible about the events he was aware of first and see what threads he may be able to pull from those. He summoned a Bible and began to research the upstart religion that had cost them so many losses and ultimately their relevance. Curling up into his favorite reading chair with a cup of tea, he settled in and began to read. Morgan was furiously working her social media profiles, subtly and occasionally not so subtly working against the narrative the movie had created. She refused to be remembered as a goth bimbo, but after watching the movie, she realized how much it had also portrayed Megan, her caring and compassionate friend, as a manipulator and kink enthusiast. Wait. Was that not an actual person? I thought it was. Um, Even if it was too late for Morgan, Megan was still alive, and her trial was starting soon. This kind of publicity wouldn't help her. She was currently commenting on videos that had been posted this morning asking the US presidential race nominees their thoughts on the movie. Since anything, Forseti seemed to be a political issue these days. I say it again, said the well-dressed Thomas Corn. The story and the movie both shine a need for better crisis management and mental health care and early warning systems for risky behaviors in our public schools. This was two recently graduated girls trying to make it in a world they weren't prepared for. I think the movie took some liberties with the girl's character, but that message was as clear to me as the day I first heard this terrible story. Liberties is an understatement. Morgan's anonymous comment started. I went to school with these girls, and they were nothing like portrayed. Megan was a quiet girl that was always willing to help others in classes, and I saw her share her lunch with other kids a few times. Morgan was a bit louder, certainly not one to be bullied, but also kind. There's enough tragedy in this story without trying to sex it up or go for cheap entertainment. The next video was a clip of his opponent, Todd Ridgway, calling into a conservative morning news program. Well, it's terrible. You see how far this country has fallen? You could see it in the movie. At least I'm told. Haven't seen it myself, but my wonderful advisors filled me in. These girls had their heads filled with mainstream media's praise of these 6 social media sites, and it's a shame. No prayer in school, not even forced to stand to pledge the flag. Such a shame. Mr. Laufenson, who made the movie, is a great friend of mine and a tremendous producer. Did some deals with him in the day. He knows his stuff. I can tell that we're going to change this. None of these false idols and social media corrupting our kids when I re-elected. The clip continued to drone on as the hosts all bobbed their heads in agreement. I think the girls made a mistake. Morgan's puppet account that had been integrating itself into the comments section of the network's videos for weeks said, the parents and teachers can only do so much against the media. I agree, but in this case, I feel like the girls were filming what they thought would be a harmless video before they went to get burrito bowls. We've all heard the 911 tapes, and the audio from the video didn't sound like someone who intended to hurt anyone to me. Oh, that's the end of the chapter. My bad. Okay. So that is the end of there. We're going to be stopping there. My hair is just